All right, YouTube, once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast talking Auburn football. It is Iron Bowl week, one of the most reveled rivalries in all of college football. Auburn taking on Alabama in Jordan-Hare Stadium, and you guys are in for a treat. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger War Eagle. Of course, Alabama has everything in front of them. They have already punched their ticket in to the SEC championship, considering a few weeks ago, Alabama on the road in College Station actually lost to Texas A&M 41-38. That actually opened the floodgates of possibility for other SEC West teams. But, of course, down the stretch, SEC West teams cannibalize themselves, and now we have it. Alabama will represent the SEC West in the Southeastern Conference Championship. So what do we got here? We have old rivals, teams that absolutely hate each other. In the state of Alabama, college football is king, and the state of Alabama absolutely stops everything they're doing, and you got to pick a side. Either you're Auburn War Eagle or you're Alabama Roll Tide. This is going to be a very interesting football game. There have been plenty of situations where you have a non-ranked team in this game taking on a team that has everything to lose, and that team that's non-ranked pushes the envelope and really scares the crap out of the team that has everything to lose. And this is a situation that you have here. Let's look at Alabama. Alabama has Jameson Williams, the transfer from Ohio State, that has worked wonders for this team, has 1,200 yards. You talk about Slade Bolden. You talk about Cameron Latu. You talk about okay, let's talk about Bryce Young real quick for Alabama. Bryce Young, the hero recruit, had to kind of stick around and sit behind some good quarterbacks before him. But Bryce Young is the type of quarterback that can make some things happen for sure. He's a great passer. He has a very studious element to the game. Also, Bryce Young is a very mobile quarterback. However, Bryce Young doesn't particularly like to run the football. He has established himself as a passing quarterback. But here's the kicker. Bryce Young is about as mobile as they come. When he takes off into the field, it's a dagger in the heart of the other team. And behind him is Brian Robinson Jr., who is the redshirt senior that has stuck around. He's, kind of paid his dues, and now it is his time to shine. You talk about 900 plus yards, similar to Auburn's Tank Bigsby. We're going to talk about that in a second. Alabama actually has a very stout offensive line. I mean, they haven't been perfect, but they've been pretty good. The main guy that I want to talk about is Javion Cohen, who was actually an Auburn commit, and Gus Malzahn pulled the plug on his on his scholarship, because we kind of knew that, Javion Cohen was going to, flip, and Gus Malzahn and his staff was like, nah, you're not going to, publicize us in this decommitment. Also, ironically, number 77, Jadian Roberts out of Texas, who was actually a teammate of Auburn's quarterback right now, is on the squad. He actually flipped his commitment to Alabama, and he's on the second string for this team. I think this is a very talented Alabama football team. Auburn definitely has to bring their A game, as other squads have brought their A game to this particular football team. And then you look at the defensive side of Alabama. What really stands out is Philandrian Mathis, who has caused some havoc at that defensive end. You also have to look at Will Anderson Jr. at that jack position. He's been very good at that jack position, so Auburn is definitely going to have to look out for that. And one of my favorite secondary members of the SEC is Malachi Moore. He plays that star position, that hybrid cornerback slash linebacker slash safety position, and he does a lot of great things for Alabama here. So as we preview this Alabama team, what we got to look at is the fact that they can run the football, obviously, with Brian Robinson Jr., but they can throw it. I mean, they have a really good downfield. They really pressure the secondary, and this is going to be a huge challenge for my Auburn Tigers, and I just want to see how they respond. Auburn has had some challenges as far as, on the field battles, some injuries, things of that nature, and we got to see, how does this team respond? They've lost 3 straight football games in the SEC, having the chance to push the envelope to where this is a winner-take-all game in the Iron Bowl, but instead it's a, hey, I'm trying to spoil your party, because the Bammers and Georgia have already punched their ticket to the SEC championship. Here's what Auburn's got to do. Auburn's got to run the football. You got to give the ball to Tank Bigsby. You have to establish some type of game management as far as controlling the clock. And I think this is something that Auburn could possibly do against a team like this. Other teams have done it. You think about all the teams that Auburn beat. A few teams that Auburn beat. Arkansas was able to keep the game close and almost have a situation to where they could win this football game. LSU, a team that knew that their head coach was not going to be there next year, they pushed Alabama to the envelope 20-14. They could have won the football game, for crying out loud. And on the road, Alabama goes to Texas A&M and loses to the Aggies. The first time that that Nick Saban has lost to a former colleague, and that's where we are right now. We're going to do the prediction show for this game. I think Alabama's an incredible football team. They've created an incredible dynasty. Auburn, on the other hand, brand new head coach Brian Harsin, who's still trying to establish himself as a coach in the SEC and all the challenges that come with it. I'm interested to see how they respond here. We got the prediction show coming tomorrow. Alabama is well on their way to the Southeastern Conference championship game. Auburn still trying to salvage what was a promising season at one time. All of my subscribers, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Salty Dog, all those guys that come on every week, Weaver, Bayou Classic, one of my first subscribers, I want you to go ahead and chime into this football game. Auburn is in for a severe challenge at home against Alabama, the number 3 ranked team in the country. But Auburn is no stranger to facing top 25 football teams. I really would like to see how this turns out. Prediction show tomorrow. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger.